All right, like say all praise to Yahawah by Hashem, Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles and elders at Greatmillstone, honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth and sincerity. So we're back at it again, man. All right, so today we're gonna be going over salvation of the Gentiles. All right, so I just read this article that was put up. I think it said I forgot when it said the article was put up. I'm not for sure, but basically it's and obviously it's written by Esau, of course, talking about how Paul's ministry is what gave salvation to the Gentiles. All right, that he opened the door for for non-Israelites to have salvation. So, is that correct or is that wrong? Well, we're finna go into the scriptures and see. All right, because contrary to popular belief, all right, those Gentiles that can get salvation are not non-Israelites. They are indeed Israelites, and that's what we're gonna cover. Because I'm tired of you dumb so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out here always trying to save these other nations. But here it is. If this book was written of these other nations, they wouldn't be trying to save y'all ass. But hey, that's just that Stockholm syndrome that y'all got, man. Y'all always want to save everybody else instead of yourself, man. Here it is. The men out here on the highways and byways giving you the good words, the gospel, the good news, let you know that you God's chosen people and that you no longer gonna be in the condition that you in. But yet the only thing you can think about is the other nations instead of thinking of yourself and thinking about what you need to be doing to get right. You rather focus on if the other nations can make it. But if I was to speak this word to these other nations and tell them that they was the chosen, I guarantee you not one would say, oh, what about the so-called Negroes? Or what about the so-called Mexicans? Can they make it? What about the so-called Puerto Rican? Can he make it? What about so-called Native Americans? Can they make it? I guarantee you wouldn't hear that from these other nations, man. But you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, you are in love with your oppressors, man. You love to be oppressed, man. That's why I say, is Israel a homeborn slave? Like you people love being in this slave mentality, man. And that's why two-thirds of our people got to be put to death, man. Because y'all want to be slaves, man. Want to be servants all your life, man. The kingdom of heaven is for kings, man. All right? For those that's ready to be put into power. That's tired of being ruled over. Tired of being oppressed. All right, so let's get into it, man. So we're going to the Apocrypha, to Ecclesiasticus. It's chapter 37, verse 25. Because let's see who these Gentiles are, man. Let's see the whole matter of salvation, what salvation is about, man. Let's see who could be saved, who's going into the kingdom of heaven, who's the kingdom of heaven is for. So this Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 37, verse 25. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. Exactly. So Israelites are still walking the earth, man. There's no such thing as there's no more Israel. No, Israelites are still walking the earth. And the Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You are the Israelites, and you are still walking the earth. All right. So it ain't no such thing as, oh, Israel got put away. There's no more Israel. Listen to this scripture, man. What thus says the Lord? What thus says God, man? What thus says Yahawah by Hashem, Yahawashi? Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 25. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. Meaning Israel will always be around, man. Their days are innumerable. They have no number. All right. Now we're going to Ecclesiastes chapter 49. You people, I swear, man. You people, boy, y'all do not know the Bible, man. Y'all need to put the Bible down. Simple as that, man. Especially you Edomites, man. You got no business having our book in your hands, man. You damn heathen. This Ecclesiastes chapter 49, verse 8. It was Ezekiel who saw the glorious vision, which was showed him upon the chariot of the cherubims. All right. So this was Ezekiel that saw the vision on what? On the chariots, all right, of the angels. And what are the chariots of the angels? What the world know as UFOs, but they IFOs, all right? They identified flying objects, man. Those are the chariots of Israel, or chariots of the cherubim, all right, of the angels. Verse 9. For he made mention of the enemies under the figure of the rain, and directed them that went right, and of the 12 prophets, let the memorial be blessed, and let their bones flourish again out of their place, for they comforted Jacob. So who did the 12 disciples comfort? Who did the 12 disciples go to get? They went to get who? They comfort Jacob. I'm gonna read it again. I don't think you Christians heard that. It didn't say they went to get the world. It didn't say they went to get the other nations. Let's see who they comfort. And let their bones flourish again out of their place, for they comforted Jacob. Who comforted Jacob? And of the 12 prophets, let the memorial be blessed, and let their bones flourish again out of their place, for they comforted Jacob and delivered them by assured hope. All right. And those 12 prophets represent what? The 12 tribes of Israel. Just like Yahawashi had the 12 disciples. All right. And who did the 12 disciples go comfort? The same people that the 12 prophets comfort, which is Jacob. All right. And that's why if you go to Matthew's chapter 10, verse 5, what does it say? Let's see who Christ told the 12 to go comfort. Did he tell them to go comfort everybody? Or did he tell them to go comfort the Israelites? Let's see. This Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. Then, Salakia, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahawashi sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So who did the 12 go to comfort? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. Who did Yahawashi send the 12 to? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. What did he tell them not to go to? Go not into the way of the Gentiles, the other nations, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Now, why did he tell them not to go into the city of Samaria? Because Samaria was once ruled by who? The northern kingdom. So why didn't he tell them to go into Samaria? Because that's what Israel was ruling in Samaria at one time, right? So why would he say not go in there? Let's find out. Let's go to 2 Kings. Let's find out why he didn't want them to go to Samaria. Off into the Samaritans. The 2 Kings. Bear with me. Chapter 17. Let's find out why he didn't want them to go there. Alright, since salvation is for everybody. This 2 Kings chapter 17, we'll start at verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Exactly. So that's who the 12 prophets talked to. That's who the 12 disciples talked to. They always going to Israel, man, to tell them how they going off, trying to correct them, man, correcting their steps. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but harden their necks, like to the necks of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their God. Exactly. And 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you still don't believe, man. You still don't believe in Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, man. Y'all still rejecting. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers. Who was the covenant made for? Who was the statutes, the laws, the commandments made for? All right, it was made for the Israelites. It was made to our fathers. All right, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and known to the 12 tribes and his testimonies, which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain. Exactly. That's how these Israelites became vain. That's how these Israelites became Gentiles, man. Because they what? Because they followed vanity and became vain, meaning they started following after the heathens. Oh, there you go. It said right now. And went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. Exactly. So that's how these are the Gentiles, man. These Israelites that started going after the heathen, following the heathen, and acting like them, man. When Yahawashi told them that, charged them that they should not. And they left all the commandments of the Lord, their God, meaning they left their heritage and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove and worshiped all the hosts of heaven and served Baal. Exactly. Started worshiping all the hosts of heaven, meaning worshiping angels, man, on the left hand side, meaning demons, man, and serving Baal, man. All right. Same thing that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans do to this day when you in these fraternities, whether it's Freemason, the Boule, and so forth and so on, man. Y'all still doing it to this day. Y'all still doing that shit, man, following after the heathen, man. Verse 17, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire. Oh, man, there you go. Because I told you, it's that Freemasonry, man. Y'all still doing it to this day, man. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and used divination and enchantment and sold themselves to do evil. Exactly. What is that, man? Human sacrificing, man. Rituals, man. Y'all still, like I said, y'all still doing it to this day, man. Wicked ass so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord and provoke him to anger. Yeah, you provoking the anger. Why? Because you're following after these heathens, man. That's their customs to do that shit. But now you off into it. And why you off into it? Because you envy the oppressor, man. You want what the oppressor got. Not knowing that these heathens, they get their power from the left hand side, man. Alright? That's how the white man got his power, man. By worshiping the host of heaven. By worshiping the angels on the left hand side of the Most High, man. That's how he get his power, man. And y'all follow right behind him, man. Instead of following the head guy, you wanna follow the angels. Instead of following the head God that's really your true God that made all things. Yeah, you niggas that damn stupid, man. Verse 18, therefore the Lord was angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. Exactly. So what happened? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were going off, man. Doing the same shit that you're doing this day, man. Worshipping fake gods, man, and false idols. To the point that the Most High had to remove you so-called Latinos and Native Americans out of Israel. But then he only left the Negroes. But then what did the Negroes start doing? They started following the customs of what y'all was doing, man. All right. They started following after the same shit that y'all was doing. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. And he rent Israel from the house of David. Exactly. So why did y'all get cast out of the land? Following after the heathens, worshiping what they worship. Made Jeroboam the son of the Bet king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Exactly. So the northern tribe was carried out of the land. Why? For following after the heathens and choosing to worship different gods and idols, man. And what did it get carried into? Captivity in Assyria. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Kahuth, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. So that's why Yahawashi told them not to go into Samaria, to the Samaritans. Why? Because the Israelites were not there. The children of Israel was replaced. Who were they replaced by? And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Kathah, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. All right. So that's why Yahawashi Christ told them not to go unto the Gentiles or into the city of Samaria. Why? Because the Gentiles was in the city of Samaria, man. Because the children of Israel was replaced by those people. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. All right. Now we got the understanding of that, man. So, no, the 12 didn't go to no damn Gentiles, man. All right. Just as Yahawashi instructed them, man. So now, we got better understanding on why he said not to go into the city of Samaria or unto the Gentiles, all right? Because they're not Israelites. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 1. Shit simple, man. But I don't expect you Edomites to understand this, man. Because you a Gentile. You can't understand this. But you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, you need to wake the hell up and understand this. Because you are the Israelites, so you should be able to understand it. But guess what? 2/3 of y'all ain't going to get it and going to be put to death. So this Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahawashi. For he shall save his people from their sins. What did it say? He gonna save all people? No, it said his people. All right, his people. Verse 22. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. All right. So it said he was going to save his people. Now you want to know who his people is? It's simple, man. Just go to Matthew's right in the next chapter. Matthew chapter 2, verse 3. And it reads, When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests, scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judah. For thus it is written by the prophet. So this is written in the records by the prophet of old. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the prince of Judah. Out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. So who did Christ come for? My people Israel. Who is Christ going to rule over as a governor? My people Israel. Did it say my people, everybody in the world? Did it say my people, all nations? No, it said my people Israel. It said out of thee shall a prince come. All right. So who did Christ come for, man? It's telling you who he came for right here, man. So why y'all adding, man, and taking away from the scriptures, man? It's telling you who Christ came for. He came for Israel. It's telling you who Christ sent the 12 to. Christ said, go not into the Gentiles or into the city of Samaria, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So who did he come for? For Israel, man. This shit is simple, man. Simple. But you simpletons can't get simple, man. You can't get simple things, man. Because you people are destroyed, man. Let's go to Jeremiah. Chapter 31. People don't understand nothing. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 15. Thus saith the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentations and bitter weeping. Rachel weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. Thus saith the Lord, refrain thy voice from weeping and thy eyes from tears, For thy work shall be rewarded, saith the Lord, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. And there is hope in thy end, saith the Lord, that thy children shall come again to their own borders. All right, what is that talking about? What is this talking about? This is talking about when Herod was killing all the children because he was trying to find Christ, man. All right, he was killing all the babies. That's why I said lamentation and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. All right, because I forgot how many years Herod went about killing all the kids trying to kill Christ, because he knew Christ was coming to what? To redeem the Israelites, man. And he didn't want that to happen. So that's what it's talking about, man. Shit is simple, man. And why did it say their hope is in thy end? Why did it say that? You find that out about in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9, where it say the beginning is Esau and the end is Jacob. All right, let's get that, man. That's what it's talking about, man. Man, you damn heathens, man. You going into slavery, man. Point blank, period, man. Ain't no salvation for you, man. Your salvation is now. Y'all better live it up while y'all can right now. While you got your couple of months or 1 to 2 years left, man. Because it's very close. In 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Exactly. So that's why it said what it said. All right. Because at the end of this world, which is Esau world, Jacob is going to be ruling after it, man. We going to be put in rulership, man. All right. Simple stuff, man. Simple. But you people can't get it, man. It's a puzzle, man. Put the puzzle together, man. Ain't hard. Y'all, you been put puzzles together since you was a kid. Well, some of y'all can't do that, man. Some of y'all can't put puzzles together, man. That's why you struggle now. This Acts chapter 26, verse 1. Then Agrippa said unto Paul, Thou art permitted to speak for thyself. Then Paul stretched forth the hand and answered for himself, I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee touching all the things whereof I am accused of the Jews. Especially because I know thee to be an expert in all customs and questions which are among the Jews. Wherefore I beseech thee to hear me patiently. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among my own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Jews, which know me from the beginning, that they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived the Pharisee. So Paul let them know, hey, look, I know these scriptures back and forth. All right, I was a Pharisee of the hardest sect, and now I stand, and I am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers. You see that? He say, and now I stand judged for the hope of the promise. Who was the promise made to? Made of God unto our fathers. Did not Paul say he an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin? Did not he say that? So who are his fathers? The Israelites. All right, verse 7. Unto which promise our 12 tribes. Exactly. So who is the hope for? Who is the promise for? The promise is the kingdom. All right. What is the hope? The hope is that the kingdom come. All right. That's the hope. Who is that promise to? The 12 tribes, man. So who is salvation for? The 12 tribes. Unto which promise of 12 tribes, instantly serving God day and night, hope to come. For which hope, say King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. Exactly, man. So that's what the hope is for, man. That's who got the salvation, man. The 12 tribes, which are the Israelites, man. Not no other nations, man. All right. Let's go to Romans, in case y'all think Paul wasn't an Israelite. All right, like he just was speaking out of his head or something. Romans verse 9. For verse Shalakia, Romans chapter 9, verse 3. For I wish that myself were accursed for Christ, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. So who is his brethren? Who is his kinsmen? According to the flesh. So you can't become no Israelite from the mind, from the heart. All right, this is flesh, man. This is a heritage. This ain't no I could convert. This ain't no, oh, I could put it in my mind. In my mind, I could become an Israelite. No, it said according to the flesh. It didn't say according to the heart or according to the mind. It said according to the flesh, meaning you have to be born an Israelite, man. All right. My kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to who pertain of their adoption, what is the adoption? That's Christ down on the cross adopting us back to the Father. And the glory was the glory, the kingdom of heaven. And the covenants was the covenants, the laws. All right. And the giving of the law. Who could give the law? Who could give understanding to the law? Who could understand these scriptures? The Israelites. And the service of God. Who could serve God? The Israelites. Nobody, no other nation. And the promises. Who are the promises given to? The Israelites. The promises of what? The promises of the world. Everything that he promised that we was going to get, that he was going to bring us out of captivity, man, and put us back on high and reign with his son Yahawashi. Whose are the fathers of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came. There it is. There it is again. Who is over all. God bless forever. Amen. So what is this? Salvation is for everybody, man. All right. Those Gentiles are Israelites, man. That's who could be saved, man. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. This 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Now concerning the spiritual gifts, brethren, who is the brethren? The Israelites. I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. Why were they Gentiles? Why were they Gentiles, Paul? Who are you talking to? You're talking to your brethren who are Israelites. But you just said to them, you know that you were Gentiles. All right. Why were they Gentiles? Carried away unto these dumb idols as she were led. Exactly. And how was they led? They was led by the northern tribe. All right. The so-called Native Americans and Latinos. All right. That's how they was led, that we read about in Kings, man. That's how they started following after these dumb idols and became Gentiles, meaning they forgot their heritage and took on the heritage of these heathens, man. The mind frame in the worship of these heathen gods, man. That's how they became Gentiles, man. In the mind, but in the flesh, they was always Israelites, man. All right. And how did they learn about these dumb idols? Because of their brethren, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. All right. That's who brought it in. And then the whole nation just followed the lead. All right. And stuck to it to the point where the Most High got mad and sent their ass into captivity, man. And then while they was in these different captivities, what happened over time? These people forgot they were Israelites, man. And those that didn't forget that they were Israelites, they would call those people Gentiles. Why? Because they was living as the heathen, calling themselves by heathen nation names, man. And no longer knowing that they was Israelites, man. That's what happened, man. So those Gentiles that can be saved, that got salvation, those are the Israelites that no longer knew they was Israel, that was following the customs of the other nations, of the heathen nations, man. Simple, man. Put the puzzle together, man. Shit is too easy. And what further proves that? James. It's James chapter 1. James chapter 1, verse 1. James, the servant of God and of the Lord Yahawashi Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, my brethren. You got it? Do you understand it now? So who was the 12 apostles going to get? The scattered 12 tribes that were scattered abroad, man. The Israelites that were scattered abroad, man. Do you understand it now? Can't get no more simpler than that, man. Can't get no more simpler than that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. Exactly. So all the people on earth come from Adam. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. And who is the Most High has chosen? Israel. All right. So all people come from Adam, and also the Israelites. All right, whom the Most High has chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake. So who was this world made for? It was made for the Israelites, man. As for the other people, who are the other people? The other nations that are not Israelites. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, but be like unto spit, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So you other nations, you heathen nations, man, the Lord consider y'all like a drop of water that falleth out of a big ass bucket of water, man. If you was carrying a big bucket of water and you spilled a little drop of water, you wouldn't give two shits about that. That's how the Lord considers you heathen nations, man. You other nations, man. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing. Say that again, Ezra. Say it again, because I don't think these 2/3 Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans hear you. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing. Exactly. They nothing, man. So why you damn so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans always worried about them, man? They nothing to the Lord, man. They spit. So worry about yourself, man. Worry about getting yourself in order. Which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Exactly. So these nations that's ruling over y'all, you wonder why you at the bottom. All right. These other nations, they ruling over us, man. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Exactly. So that's why they rule over us, man. Because we are given into their hands. Why? Because we chose to go after their gods, man. As we read earlier, man. We chose to forsake our God, the true God, and start going after the heathen gods and after the heathen's customs, man. So that's why they're ruling over us, man. Although the world was made for our sake, all right? And although the Lord considered these heathens as nothing, man. Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance